everyone, welcome back to the ADHD Fam. My name's Sharon, neurotypical wife and mother, living with a house full of neurodivergents. This is one of them. This is my husband, Chris. He's going to help me with the Q&A today. So let's get started. Question 1. I find that autism and ADHD have some similarities, most of all in executive cognitive abilities. Organizing thoughts, need to break any tasks into smaller steps. Are you having difficulty?
No.
To lead to the task. Have you noticed these similarities too? Does it help to see how autistic persons cope with this difficulty?
As far as trying to see someone else cope with something, everybody has different coping skills for different problems they have. Whether or not somebody's autistic, it's all about knowing what their issue is and being able to identify what helps versus what doesn't, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree. If you find a coping skill that works for you, then go ahead and use it. Also, people with ADHD also tend to have autism as well. I guess it's a ADHD abbreviation if you want to do a little research on that too.
Also, coping skills that are healthy.
Yes, healthy coping skills, focusing on those instead. I'm doing a work project while I do this interview, so keeps him distracted and not nervous.
A few moments later.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2.
Any tips involving management and young kids and parenting, especially as a single parent with no experience in living with anyone with ADHD? Any tips? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'll go first so he can have a minute to think. So consistency is key. Consistency in everything. That goes hand in hand with the support. So that's the school, family, the co-parent, all of you on the same page. Also with accommodations, if you have the same system in your home, make sure the mom or dad or your co-parent has the same system in his or her home. Very beneficial. Also learn everything you can. The more that you understand, the easier it is to adjust and implement new things. So keep reading. I recommend anything written by Edward Hollowell. That's been very beneficial. Don't take responsibility on their behalf. Hold them accountable for their decisions and let them do it. So when my son's an extremely impulsive kid, I would be like, oh, I'm sorry, he's just an impulsive kid. No, I have to allow him to take responsibility for his actions so that he learns between behaviors that are okay and behaviors that aren't okay. And get a system in place for everything, for chores, for homework, for disciplinary actions, behaviors. You know, we have the consequence and reward system video if you want to take a look at that. It's been very helpful in our home. Support groups, if you don't have a support system, it's very helpful to have someone to talk to about it. Because even talking to my own parents about it can be frustrating because they don't understand. Don't take certain behaviors personally is a big one. Sometimes it's unintentional. So just kind of let it glide off your shoulder, keep your calm, and then if it is intentional, make sure you nip it in the bud right away, because if you don't, they're just going to run with it. And my final thing is practice healthy emotional regulation and remove reactionary parenting. So the screaming and the over the top, remove the feeling from your reaction. That really helps. Try to remain calm. Any insights on that?
I'll keep it short and sweet. Be patient, understanding. Just because you don't know what's going on doesn't mean they do, because more than likely they don't know what's going on. Just give them the opportunity, not all the time, with caution,
Depending if it's intentional or unintentional behavior.
but give them the opportunity to let it out, let it vent.
Number 3, do you have any examples of impulsivity leading to the start of something great or funny?
I mean, tons of funny, but not about great.
We'll give one example of funny. Go ahead.
You're gonna get me in trouble.
Well, something that won't get you in trouble. I remember that you impulsively jumped off a truck to impress me when we were teenagers and ended up breaking his foot in the process. He was gone for like 20 minutes. His ankle, I'm sorry. He was gone for like 20 minutes. I was waiting for him to roll on back. It took forever. And then he's hobbling along, and the poor man pretended like he was okay, and he walked all the way to the gas station with me, which was 2 miles there and back. I know that was an impulsive
But
move.
how about the context of me being a lot younger
Yes.
and there's a tow truck like this and me on a bicycle saying
Mhm.
that's a really big ramp,
Mm-hmm.
and I nailed it.
I'm gonna jump it.
I got it. I killed it.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't kill the landing.
Yeah. Whoa.
It killed my ankle instead.
Also, he would do a lot of funny things with my brother. I remember going to Goodwill one time and they have a donation bin. They took some crutches and a computer chair that were sitting outside the bin. And my brother sat in the chair and Chris grabbed the crutches while he held the other ends and he's just running as fast as he
You were
can.
chariot racing.
Yes. That was some funny stuff. But I don't know if that would be impulsive or just like boredom, trying to get creative with entertaining yourself. But leading to something great. So I want to say that my husband did punch his boss one time.
No, I didn't.
His boss swung at him first, twice, and he said no, and he hit him. And I was so grateful he did because they fired him and he got to come home because that job was working him to death. And then it led to bigger and better things. So, that was
But it was wrong.
yes, don't hit your boss, guys. Number 4. Parenting is someone with ADHD for a child with ADHD, the struggles they may have and or benefits.
Well, the younger years are awesome because you can be a little kid with the little kid.
That's true. Very playful.
But on the other end of that, if your ADHD does not mesh with their ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
it's like two magnets trying to force to be together.
That don't want to.
Um,
I know that as an ADHD parent, you're more receptive to certain behaviors. Like he can read through the BS. Like, you know, the intentional. Unintentional is what I got from him. Actually, I'm like, oh my gosh, what a rough day. He's like, he's jerking your chain. So he's more receptive to those things, but he's also more sensitive to those behaviors, which creates a little bit of friction at times.
I'm empathetic.
You are. I recommend practicing and demonstrating healthy emotional regulation to show your child and also to encourage your child to by having them calm down, explain the emotion and why they're feeling it. Also read to understand, even if you have ADHD yourself, there's always something new to learn. So as I said before, anything written by Dr. Edward Hallowell has been amazing in my home. Also, Beyond Reason is a great book for communication, talks about the 5 core factors that are important with effective communication, which has been extremely helpful for me in communicating with this one over here. And then there's a follow-up question to that one. So how to help if your child with ADHD has anxiety or worries? How do you help?
Listen,
Listen.
be there. They're having a hard time just like you are probably.
I said create a safe space at home, which goes hand in hand with that. You are their safe space. Create that positive connection that I've discussed in my other videos. If you create that, it really helps with that anxiety and worry. Therapy, reassurance, praise, support are also great. And do emotional check-ins. So if they're extremely emotional that day, it helps if you help them pinpoint what's causing it and then pinpoint something that can make them feel better about the situation. And perspective. Did you want to tell them about perspective? Because our son was having an anxiety attack the other day, and my husband put things in perspective for him, which helped him calm down rather quickly. It was surprising to me.
Seeing whatever the situation is and trying to, in my opinion, make a game of where's the good or the silver lining. With him, he had a upsetting time. There was a very big silver lining or ray of sunshine where the person who was upset about wrote him an extremely nice note thanking him for everything that he did, and I just took that without even knowing what was really happening and just saying,
Reinforced it.
you have shown somebody what kindness is, and with that kindness became opportunities. So, long story short, whatever the situation is, just try to find the silver lining. Try to find the thing that makes it positive. Try to find the lesson learned or the value behind it all.
Where it doesn't feel like the end of the world. As teenagers, you know, they not only have the ADHD, but they got the hormones going, so everything feels like the end of the world. Well, this is number 5, if I have it. Any tips for sleep? He has a very hard time sleeping. He has a CPAP machine he doesn't like to use. He also drinks a lot of caffeine close to bedtime.
No, I don't.
He's on his phone
No, I'm not.
before bed as well.
Why are you trying to call me out?
Because it's been bothering me. He needs to. So for me, I've done some research on the sleep. Same bedtime and wake up time. No tech 1 hour before bed. Allow your brain to calm down. Don't have the blue lights in your face, because when you have a light in your eyes, that signals that it's time to wake up. They take it as that's the sun. Get up, stay up. So when you have that light in your face all night, you know, it's not helpful. And if you are on it a little bit, make sure you turn the brightness all the way down at least. We also use magnesium glycinate and Sleep Calm by Boreon. Do not give your kids melatonin. Dr. Huberman did a TED Talk, or not a TED Talk, did a podcast about this where it affects them into puberty. It's not good for your kids, no melatonin, but you can try the other 2 supplements that I listed. It is safe for children. The Sleep Calm is not for kids 12 and under though. Stop caffeine 4 to 6 hours before bed.
I don't.
Or sooner, preferably. Having a routine exercise plan
I do.
also helps. And I don't recommend eating before bed. This guy likes to have a snack in bed. I feel like that wakes up your body a little bit, and it's got to digest and get, it's not a comfortable feeling. It's not comfortable to sleep when you have a full stomach either. Number 6, how did you meet and fall in love? Aww, let's go for a first impression first. What was your first impression of me?
You want me to be honest?
I do. They want honesty.
Are you sure?
Yes. I'm kind of nervous now. I feel like you're going to say something else. Because you've told me this before. But go ahead. First impression.
She's hot.
She's hot. That was not your first impression of me.
Yeah, it was.
I was 12.
No, you weren't.
Yes.
No, you weren't.
His first impression of
You
me,
were
so
14.
we had just moved in. I was 12.
14.
And I was 12. We had been living there for a couple years before we started dating.
Sounded like a creeper.
We were only 15. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Jeez. But I was 12. And he thought I was extremely bossy because we had just moved for the millionth time. Which, that's a whole childhood story
Well, I
we
thought
don't
we
want
were
to
talking
get
about
into.
the pool.
No, I'm talking about like the first impression. Anyway, I was barking orders at my siblings. And he thought I was the bossiest creature. And he just stood there and kind of listened for a minute and walked on by. My first impression of you was, who is that adorable boy? He reminded me of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Because he had these little hairs and this little goatee like Shaggy. And he wore the baggy shirt and jeans, and he kind of walked around like this and had really long arms.
I got long arms.
I loved it so much. I thought he was so interesting. We lived in the same apartment complex, just for context, sorry. He disappeared for 2 years. There were some family issues going on. And then after, when I hit 14, he actually showed up at my birthday party. And my mom didn't invite him in, which I find very funny because she invited all these other boys in. But he came back to help her clean up.
I didn't know if you wanted that one or the one at the pool. But...
Yeah, the one at the pool, we met at the pool, where you still saw me as a little bossy.
Yeah? Came at me. You're gonna talk to me?
Yes, so he was sitting in the hot tub. I was with my sister. And I had a big mouth as a child, if you haven't caught that onto that already. And he's just staring at me on and off through the hot tub. We even locked eyes a little bit. And by the end of it, I was like, I'm almost ready to go. Are you going to talk to me or not? And then we started talking after that. But you want to tell them the little tidbits that you like to tell everyone?
You're a stalker?
That I'm a stalker. when I was just trying to give him opportunities to
Of
speak with
following
me.
you around.
To speak with me. So I would see him go to the soda machine at the apartment complex office. And my mom liked soda, so every time I saw him, I would offer to go get her a soda. And I would smile, and he would just be like, I don't know who you are. I'm gonna move on with my life.
And then followed me to go watch me play football
I
with
did.
friends and soccer. And
Yes, because his group of friends actually meshed with my group of friends once we got into high school a little bit. But yeah, that's how we met and fell in love. Number 7. Did you ever pay for an ADHD coach, and would you consider it?
No, because I don't want to pay money for someone to tell me what to do. But at the same time, too, I guess I see what the benefit would, but I don't really like the idea of it personally.
Well, you have a bad streak. He has a bad streak with therapists too that weren't very helpful. So I think he's got a little bit of apprehension when it comes to any kind of coaching, therapy, or help of any kind. But I actually disagree. I think that if we had hired a coach or even a therapist who specialized in ADHD in the beginning of our marriage, it would have saved us a lot of trouble in the communication department. Oh my gosh. Trying to talk to each other in that time when we're both, especially me, so reactionary about everything and so controlling about everything during those times.
Bias.
Yeah, the bias too. So when we went to go see a couples therapist, she was extremely biased because she had not specialized or had any kind of training in ADHD. So she's like, "What's wrong with you? Your wife's telling you what she needs and you're not doing it. I don't understand." Which made him feel even worse. It didn't help anything. Number 8. How would you have wished as a teenager that you would have been told that you have ADHD? So how would you break the news, essentially?
I mean, nobody really broke the news to me, but because it was wrong to have ADHD.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit.
After all the testing, this is what we came back with. Here's some things that you can try. Here's some things that you can do. And here's some things that they can try and or want to do. And then let them just kind of decide rather than
Where they want to go with it.
forcing, hey, we're going to write you a prescription for this, or hey, we're going to put you in these counselings, or hey, I always knew something was wrong with you.
So just telling them, giving them something brief, and teaching them how to manage it.
ADHD is not a bad thing, it's a superpower.
Exactly. That wraps it up for the Q&A. Thank you all for watching if you stayed tuned this long. Hopefully we didn't gab on too much. Did you want to show them?
But he
Your
doesn't
jack?
have his hand yet.
So this is his part of his work project. He did pretty good. Looks very nice. But thanks so much for watching and for your support. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Leave a comment if you have any additional questions you would like us to answer and what you found most helpful from this video. And we'll see you in the next one. You want to wave with your jackhand?
No.
You look like the guy from Scary Movie.
I have a strong hand, child.